Oshodi at 5 p.m. was not a place for gentle thoughts. The air was thick with sweat, diesel smoke, and the shouts of 1,000 people trying to get home. Buses, known as Danfos, fought for space like angry yellow beetles. Conductors hung from doors, screaming destinations. Obalande, CMS, Yaba, enter fast fast. It was normal chaos. Adebayo was one such conductor. His voice was hoarse from shouting. He slapped the side of his bus, yelling, Yaba, 2 more seats. He turned to collect money from the last passenger who had just squeezed in. That's when he saw it. A Danfo, the same model as all the others, a yellow Volkswagen van with blue stripes, slid smoothly into an empty spot next to his. It didn't screech, it didn't bump the curb, it parked perfectly. Adebayo frowned. Something was off. It was too quiet. The engine purred softer than a kitten. No conductor jumped out. No driver leaned out to yell. The passengers waiting at the stop, desperate to get home, didn't notice. They just rushed forward and started climbing in through the open door. Oga driver, you dey park like say you no wan walk. Make you collect your money now. No response. Adebayo walked over, annoyed. He peered through the driver's side window. The seat was empty. The steering wheel was moving slightly, as if held by a gentle, invisible hand. He blinked. He wiped his eyes. The seat was still empty. Hey, him not there! Adebayo shouted, jumping back. Driver not there inside this motor! People turned. A woman selling groundnuts stopped fanning her coals. A mechanic looked up from a tire. The passengers who had just entered the bus froze, then scrambled to get back out, tumbling over each other. Waiting be this, na joke? Someone asked. Remote control, said a young man with headphones. Na film trick. But no one with a remote was in sight. The bus just sat, idling calmly in the middle of the roaring madness. Across the road, Tunde was locking his Uber car. He had just dropped off a banker at the station. He heard the rising commotion, the shouts of ghost motto and witchcraft, and shook his head. Tunde was a man of facts. His facts were oil needed changing, traffic was hell, and good ratings meant more money. Stories of spirits, they were for people who had time to waste. See as them they shout, he muttered to himself, checking his phone for the next ride request. Probably wants to be driver forget handbrake and bus just roll small. Lagos people and stories. He got a request, a ride to Ikeja. He pushed the Oshodi noise out of his mind. But the story didn't die. It grew. The Danfo, after sitting for 10 minutes, suddenly put itself into gear. The indicator light for right clicked on. He pulled out of the park, checked his mirrors that no one was touching, and merged into the moving traffic. He drove at exactly the speed limit. He stopped at the red light by the mosque. When the light turned green, it moved. People were pointing now. Phones came out. Videos were taken. See not true. No driver there inside. The footage was shaky but clear. An empty driver's seat, a moving steering wheel. It followed the route to Yaba. It stopped at every known bus stop along that road. It would pause, the door would stay open for exactly 30 seconds, then close, and it would move on. Some brave or terribly late commuters actually got in. They would sit down, breathing heavily, looking at the empty front seat. Then when the bus stopped near their destination, they would jump out and run without looking back, their faces pale. By evening, all of Lagos social media was on fire. Hashtag Driverless Danfo was trending. Some said it was a tech experiment by a university. Others said it was a clever advertisement. Many more spoke of ghosts and curses. Tunde saw the post on his brakes. He laughed. Photoshop and fear. He told a fellow Uber driver at a filling station, if I no see am with my own eyes, I no believe. But Lagos has a way of making you see things. 2 days later, Tunde was stuck in the usual evening crawl on a Ikorodu road. He was tired. His neck ached. He glanced to his left, into the lane for public transport. There, moving steadily while cars like his were locked in place, was a yellow Danfo. It had a familiar, faded sticker on the back, a picture of Jesus with the words, "The Lord is my shepherd," and above the windshield, painted in slightly peeling letters, "No condition is permanent." It was the boss. Tunde's heart did a funny jump. He strained his eyes. The sun was setting, casting a glare on the windshield. But as the bus inched forward, he saw it clearly. The driver's seat, empty. The steering wheel turning slowly to navigate a pothole. No shadow, no hint of a person. It can't be, Tunde whispered to himself. He lowered his window.
sticking his head out. "Hey, Oga!" he yelled at the bus. The Danfo seemed to pause as if listening. Then, at the next bus stop, he smoothly pulled over. An old woman with a large basket wrapped in cloth was waiting. She walked slowly, calmly to the bus. The door opened. She climbed in, arranged her basket on her lap, and sat looking straight ahead, as peaceful as if she were in her own parlor. The door closed, and the bus moved back into traffic. That did it. Curiosity grabbed Tunde like a physical hand. When the traffic finally broke, he didn't follow his GPS to his next client. He cancelled the ride. He followed the yellow bus.
The pursuit was the strangest drive of Tunde's life. The Danfo didn't speed. It was predictable, lawful even, but it was aware. Tunde saw a Okada rider suddenly cut across the road without looking. The Danfo, impossibly, braked and swerved in a single motion, avoiding the bike by a hair. He didn't honk. He just corrected itself and continued. Tunde followed it from the main road into the network of smaller streets in Surulere. Here, children played football and people sat outside their houses. The Danfo moved through these streets with the gentle respect it never showed on the highways. It almost seemed to slow down near a group of playing children. Finally, after about 20 minutes, it pulled over to the side of a quiet, tree-lined street. The old man with the basket was the only passenger left. She got down, nodded slightly at the front of the bus, as if thanking the empty seat, and walked towards a small, rusty gate. The Danfo's engine went silent. It just parked. Tunde parked his car a little way down the street. His hands were sweaty. He got out and walked towards the old woman. "Mama, good evening, Mama." The old woman turned. She had a kind, wrinkled face and eyes that seemed to see everything at once. "Good evening, my son. You followed the bus." It wasn't a question. Tunde stammered. "Yes, Mama, I saw it. There's no driver. How? What is this?" Mama Chidebo smiled a small smile. "You are a driver. You understand motors. Come, sit." She pointed to a small bench outside her gate. Tunde sat, his mind full of 1,000 questions. "The boss is not a ghost," Mama Chinedu began, her voice soft but clear. "It is not a demon. It is just a boss. But a boss is more than metal. He has a life. This one, it has had many owners, good men, family men who drove it for 30 years, fed their children with his work, sent them to school. They were honest. They charged the correct fare. They helped old people with their bags. They returned lost phones. They loved the road and the people on it." She adjusted her wrapper. One by one, they died. Old age, sickness. But the spirit of their work, their collective goodness did not want to leave the boss. It became too strong, so the boss refused to die. He decided to continue the work. Tunde listened, his logical mind fighting the story. But how? How can it drive? How does a bird know to fly south? Mama Chinedu asked. It just knows. This boss knows the roads. It knows the stops. It is guided by the memory of all those good journeys. It is a reminder. A reminder of what? Tunde asked. Of what we can be, she said simply. Look at the roads now. Touts cheating people. Drivers drunk on ogogoro and speed. People dying every day. Greed is loud. It shouts. But goodness, true goodness is often quiet. It doesn't shout. It just does its work perfectly, without needing praise or a big salary. The boss appears when the noise of badness becomes too much. It is a silent message. It says, see, it is possible to do the right thing, simply. Tunde was silent for a long time. The street was peaceful. A neighbor's generator pottered somewhere. The Danfo sat under a streetlight, looking ordinary and extraordinary at the same time. Why me? Why did I see it? He finally asked. Mama Chinedu looked at him. You are a driver. You are not a perfect man, but you are not a bad one. You work hard. You try. Maybe you waited to see it. Maybe you are one of the people who will remember. The story is the important thing, not the how. She stood up. The boss will rest now. It will come out again when it is needed. Go well, my son. Tunde drove home that night in a daze. He didn't tell his wife the whole story at first. He just said, I saw something strange today. In the weeks that followed, #Driverless Danfo sightings became fewer. Some said it was seen in Naija. Another report came from Agege. But no one ever caught it. No government official claimed it. No scientist explained it. It became another part of Lagos law. A story told in traffic, a mystery shared on Twitter. Tunde changed, not in a big dramatic way. He just drove differently. When a reckless driver cut him off, he took a deep breath instead of honking wildly. He helped an old lady with her grocery bags. He returned a phone a passenger left in his back seat. He even told the story to his riders. See that Danfo bus there, he would say, pointing at any yellow bus.
I saw the famous driverless one. True story, oh. It drove better than me. Some passengers laughed, some asked for details, others nodded and said they had a cousin who knew a friend who had seen it too. The moral of the story wasn't shouted from a mountain. It just sat quietly in Tunde's heart and in the hearts of those who heard the tale. It was this: some things exist not to be explained, but to be remembered. The collective good of a community, the honesty, the hard work, the simple kindness of ordinary people can leave a mark on the world that is stronger than any one person. And sometimes, the most powerful message doesn't come with a shout or a miracle, but with a silent, perfect journey, reminding everyone that no condition, not even the hardest, most chaotic one, is truly permanent.